Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the May 23rd Henderson County Fiscal Court meeting. We're glad you're with us today. And we will begin, as we always do, with an invocation. If everybody would please stand. Dear Heavenly Father, please bless today's proceedings as we try to make good decisions for the people of Henderson County. Please watch over us and protect us as we watch over and protect one another. Please be with and comfort the families of the victims of the bombing in Manchester, England. And we ask these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Magistrate Putman.
Here.
Magistrate Warren.
Here.
Magistrate Alexander is absent. Magistrate Todd.
Here.
And Magistrate Wilkerson.
Here.
Thank you. Gentlemen, you have in front of you the minutes of the May 2nd, 2017 Fiscal Court meeting. After a period of review, I will entertain a motion to accept these.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other additions, corrections, or other comments? Please take a vote.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd.
Aye.
And Magistrate Wilkerson.
Aye.
We have some special guests with us today, and to introduce the first, I'm going to turn it over to Magistrate Bruce Todd for a special presentation.
All right, thank you, Judge. Each year, CACO, Kentucky Association County, presents an individual in different counties across the state with a grant or a scholarship. So I want to thank you for allowing me to present this award today. We sent out application to the school. We had 4 scholar applicants returned. These 4 seniors that applied, they were impressive. They were all winners, but actually, unfortunately, we can only give out 1 scholarship. So our 2017 CACO Presentation Scholarship recipient was an outstanding student with a 4.22 GPA. She ranked 4th in her class out of 441. She excelled in all her classes, including many AP courses. She was a 2016 Scholar, Governor's Scholar, a National Honor Society member, Washington Youth Tour delegate in 2016, a member of the school's archery team, and an officer and a leader in FFA. In addition, she's involved in many community programs. She is a volunteer at Parks View Care Center and Feed My Starving Children Ministry. This young lady has been accepted in Murray State University. Her volunteer work and senior at Parkview Care Center and her own grandmother battling against dementia has prompted her to study biology and to one day make a difference in the medical field. This year's 2000 CACO Presidential Scholarship Award goes to Claire Daniels. Actually, the scholarship for 8, she will receive $2,000 every year until as long as she's going to take school. Congratulations.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks. Congratulations.
Magistrate Todd, can I just kind of put an exclamation
Sure.
point on it? Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Kara.
They
Thank
said-
you for.
Out of the four, they said she had a heartfelt and for her grandmothers and her dementia, and she stood out from all the others, and we just appreciate it. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Glad you're with us today. Surprised? Good deal. Speaking of some young folks, we have Andrew Osborne and Dustin Smith with us. And if they and their parents or any folks associated with them mind coming to the podium here real quick. We don't normally give out recognition for winning fishing tournaments. But we know that a couple weeks ago, a large number of Boy Scouts camped out at Sandy Lee Watkins Park for a weekend, and part of the festivities was a fishing tournament. And we thought we'd make a big deal out of Andrew and Dustin, who both claimed victories in the tournament. Thank you. But more importantly, I think it's evidence of a growing use of the park. And if gentlemen wouldn't mind stepping to the podium and just talking a little bit about your experience out at Sandy Lee and winning the fishing tournament.
Yeah, it's my 4th year fishing there, and I got first 4 years now. It's my 4th year fishing there, and I have got first 4 years now.
Man, you're a ringer.
Yeah. And well, I like the lakes. Like, they're pretty nice. They're in good conditions, and there's good fish in them. So.
Excellent. Thank you. And
It's a great place to go fishing. There's plenty of fish for everyone to fish. It's a great place to relax. Just a good fishing spot.
excellent. Well, congratulations, guys. I want to read a little bit about Andrew and Dustin. Andrew started as a Wolf Scout in 2nd grade. He's currently a first-class senior patrol leader, and his hobbies include band, Boy Scouts, and obviously fishing. He's 13 and a student at South Middle School, and we begin 8th grade in the fall. Dustin started as a Tiger Scout in 1st grade, and his current rank is first class. His hobbies include Boy Scouts and fishing team at the high school. And now 15, a student at County High, will be in his junior year in the fall. We appreciate everything you do and enjoy your leadership, and I'm glad you had a good time at the park, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Now I'd like Treasurer Brenda Ryder and the county's IT Director, Brent Jacobs, to come up. Gentlemen, they're going to give us an update on their examination, the further examination of the financial software of the county, and make a recommendation based on their research. Brenda, I'll let you start.
At the last meeting, you asked me to do further research on the suggested software for the Treasurer's Office, which is under the name of Fiscal Soft. The actual software is comprised of 4 modules or 4 software licenses, and I will break those down for you. Fiscal Books, which is your integrated budgeting, accounting, financial reporting, actually your general ledger portion. The price for that is $14,995. The second software license or module is Fiscal Pay, which is the payroll software. The price for that is $14,995. The next module is Fiscal HR, which that is the application that produces the file reporting for the monthly Kentucky retirement for the employees. The cost for that is $9,995. The fourth module, which is known as Fiscal Express, which is the e-filing software for electronic filing of your ACH direct deposits for payroll, the electronic filing of the Kentucky retirement after it's prepared via file here, DLG financial reporting, and several other benefit reporting modules. The cost for that is $9,995. The price for each of these modules includes the subscription, the support subscription for the fiscal year 17-18. The total price of this software package is $49,980. In addition to this, the county would need to purchase a license for a multi-user, which would be for 5 users, and the price for that would be $650. The total price of this licensed software for the Treasurer's Office, $50,630. In addition to this, as I spoke, that each one of these modules is supported for the fiscal year 17-18. Support going forward for the beginning with fiscal year 18-19 must be prepaid by June 30th of 2018. The estimated cost of this is approximately $4,000. The way this is broken down is the general ledger or fiscal books portion of that is based on general fund revenue, and it's based on the general fund revenue from the prior year.
You said 4,000.
You mean 40?
Or 40, I'm sorry, 40,000. The payroll software, the support fee is will be based on the 2017 W-2 count. The retirement software will be based on the maintenance would be based on the 2017 KRS reportable count. And then the electronic filing is a flat fee of $3,600. With that said, the estimated price for that first year of maintenance is about $40,000. What the support will do, it will maintain the ongoing upkeep of the initial license purchase of each of these modules. It will also provide 2 hours of phone or email support per product per month, as well as providing the county treasurer's office with ongoing improvements and fixes to this software if purchased. They also provide a training facility to train the current staff as well as any new staff coming on, which is located in Lexington.
Now, just to clarify, our initial thought on the upfront cost was going to be well over $100,000.
Yes.
And you were able to negotiate that down half, which is I'm thankful for.
In my initial contact with the company, they provided me the modules and a way to calculate the prices. When I went back to them and negotiated that, the actual software license price is down to a total of $49,980.
I'd like Brent to come to the mic, please, and talk a little bit about the technical aspects of Fiscal Soft that made it a superior choice.
It seems like there's basically 2 companies in Kentucky that would do everything we needed to do, and this one seems to be the best fit for us. It'll do all the reporting that they have to do. They went to training and seemed to like the software. Seems like a good fit.
I think it's more robust, the whole product.
It is an integrated software, whereas now the Treasurer's Office runs on 3 modules, if you will. They run off of a payroll module, an accounts payable module, and then those are both exported into the county treasurer's reporting, which that is a separate software.
This would enable us to combine some steps, be more efficient.
It'll be more efficient, and you'll decrease your amount of time for errors, because once you enter an accounts payable claim or process a payroll, then it will flow from that point through the steps to your general ledger.
And the other product you looked at did not offer those features in such a way that it was superior to Fiscal Soft or close to what we were truly needing.
Not really, no.
And Brenda, one of the things too was the number of counties, and I think you mentioned this at the last meeting, but you might reiterate that, the number of counties in Kentucky who are using this.
There are approximately 60 counties who use this software. A lot of there's about 60 counties that use this software, and then there are 2 other software companies that were, or if you will, companies that were developed by county treasurers. You've got those, and then they've got probably 20, 25 apiece. But a lot of your other counties, even some of your big ones, are running off of non-for-profit software. What we're running off of right now is agriculture software. It's kind of a combination across the board. Right. This software is specific to Kentucky County government and Kentucky County Treasurer accounting.
And again, the current software we use is now obsolete, it's unsupported, and it's causing us issues. And this is something you've talked about before here at Fiscal Court. And again, to reiterate, in your opinions, the Fiscal Soft product not only is superior, but also met our needs almost specifically in a way that any other choice did not, right? So I think what we need is a decision about spending the upfront cost, which is approximately $50,630 to begin the acquisition process, and then we have prepared to budget in $40,000 into next fiscal year because, unfortunately, even though technically they're telling us that 17-18 would be covered by our initial payment, they want payment for the next year on June 30th of the 17-18 fiscal year. And I asked about negotiating that a little bit so we could actually push it into the next fiscal year, and they said that was a pretty hard number. So
I tried.
but we can account for it in the budget we'll vote on later this morning. So does anybody have any thoughts about that? Any other questions?
I think I said last court meeting, we're running a $27 million business, and with this antiquated old-style software with very little support, I think you need to get with the 21st century, get some software that actually does the job, gets the bills paid, all the claims, receipts, payrolls. Like I say, it's time to do it, Judge. A lot of money, but I think it's money well spent.
And I think the backup the backup support that this will provide,
Absolutely.
And the opportunities when you go to other counties, other meetings, the networking opportunities about what do you get out of it, and I experienced this. How did you? And that's valuable. And you're not paying for that. I mean, you're paying for a quality business, but you're going to have a chance to network with a lot of other counties. Are you needing a budget? I mean, a motion then to go ahead and do this?
Right. We will amend the budget to account for this expense. We again have net profits tax revenue this year that was unbudgeted, so we have enough to cover it. So that's not an issue.
I'll make the motion that to get it out on the table that we expend the $50,630 for the initial purchase, and then to also put into the budget the $40,000 to be paid by June the 30th, 2018 for the annual maintenance that will be for 2018 and 19.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussions?
One last thing. I will say, as a committee that Butch and I serve on the finance, as the judge said, we have talked about this for, 2 years?
Yeah.
Maybe even 3, the need for this. So this wasn't something that just came up, but because, as you said, financially we're able to do it, I think it's appropriate to do it. So.
And it's noted also that our auditors has been informing us that we need to upgrade our software in the past 3 or 4 years, so it's time.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comment? Please take a vote.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd.
Aye.
And Magistrate Wilkerson.
Thank you, Brenda. And speaking of bringing another aspect of county government into the 21st century, we talked a little bit in the last meeting about county's website and its shortcomings. And at the urging of Magistrate Todd, we did a little bit more research into other companies that provided the services, and you'll be happy to note that we found a company that not only has a lower upfront cost than what we originally thought about, they have a better product, we think. And having reviewed 3 different companies, I have Brent tell you a little bit about the one that we've decided is probably the front runner, Civic Plus.
Yes,
And
Civic
the
Plus.
information is in your packets, by the way, if you want to look along.
Civic Plus is actually who the city uses. We contacted them, and the guy was actually able to come up and visit us. He was in Nashville visiting some other vendors and came up and showed us his product. They seem like they're the industry leader in county websites. They have over 2,000 clients. Here's some of their websites that they've made. We thought at first they were going to be way out of the pocket as far as money, and they were able to negotiate with their bosses to come in at a lower cost, for us and got the price down to $17,941 with an annual hosting and maintenance of $3,921. As I said at last court meeting, we also had a bid from Revise that came in at $18,634 with an annual maintenance of $3,100. And then a third company I contacted, WebLinks Incorporated, they came in at $17,000, but all their features were a la carte. So another $300 a year for hosting, $200 a year for CMS plugins, and then everything else was just additional money. And they didn't seem like they had the best technology, but they were another bid.
What Civic Engage is, the name of the company, Civic Engage. And a couple of the things that we really wanted to talk to them about were features such as online forms, more readily available processes for posting online minutes and agendas and videos, have more features for each of the departments that now utilize their own websites, and maybe offer them a chance to lower their budgets and come in under that umbrella if they choose. It's very easy to do under the Civic Engage model. For instance, the county attorney's office and city county planning commission. So in many ways, this seemed to be the best product at a price that was very comparable to the others. And one of the things I liked was one of their included features was a automatic 4-year redesign at no cost. So 4 years from now, we can update the look, update the pictures, add things that we come to know we need without necessarily an extra cost. And that was the lowest, the shortest redesign offer of any of the ones we looked at, which was nice. And again, this is an industry standard, just like Fiscal Soft. Dozens, if not hundreds, of users of this product around the country, so the ability to network with other people who use Civic Engage, including our neighbors next door. And it also gives us, I think, the chance to maybe negotiate with Civic Engage along with the city in the future to maybe get an even better deal. So the presentation was solid. I think they answered a lot of questions. I'll entertain any questions of Brent on what you've seen so far.
Can you click on that online payment? See?
Online payment?
Yeah,
Down.
down at the bottom there.
Oh,
Left-hand corner.
I see.
Will you be able to pay your property taxes online like that?
That would be through we've talked about it in the past. That'd be an option through our tax vendor. A lot of people don't want to do that, though, because we're a government agency and you have to pay the credit card fees.
Well, you can do e-check.
Well, we can discuss it. It would be probably through our tax vendor, but we've talked about it in the past and just never decided to go that route. Many people don't want to use a credit card because it charges you the percentage instead of
Yeah.
the government agency.
So the answer is yes, but it wouldn't. I think they have the technology to do that if we chose through Renice's department with her advice and others.
Sheriff's Department.
Sheriff's Department too, whether we want to do that, but we do have the capability. Again, also the ability to post online forms and do more with our county government online than is capable now was an important factor. There's also, we're going to be talking about this in a second, Civic Engage also has their own version of a reverse 911 that we may be looking at in the future. We're going to talk a little bit about Mr. Kerber's recommendation on the next fiscal year, but in the future, this may be a viable option for us too, another feature they have that could save us some money.
And that's the price on the bottom of the packets I gave y'all. But I think we were too late this year to look at them.
It's called Civic Ready. So I'd like to entertain a motion for us to move forward on this as well. I think it's important for the county to be as user-friendly as possible for the public, utilizing the latest technology, and also have a website that is visually enticing and truly gives a positive impression of our county to online visitors.
And mobile device ready.
And again, our current website is not mobile device ready, so you have to pinch and scroll. if you're using a tablet or a phone, and any more of that is just not the industry standard.
I'll make a motion that we proceed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pursue this contract and engage in business with Civic. Is that true? Is that right? Did I get that right? Any other comments or questions?
I think it's the right thing to do. Again, technology, Madison and my daughter Kennedy, who's 15, I mean, that's it. I mean, and if when we go to another city, they're already looking online of what's available. So, you know, you think about what are people doing. If their first image is this website, and if it's obsolete, they're going to go, boy, that community
Is obsolete.
And I kid you not. That's exactly. So anyhow, yes, it's definitely the right thing to do.
And that's one of the main problems with our website. If you're on a mobile device, you can't even navigate it.
Right.
Right, because we have drop-down menus that you
Right.
cannot use on
Can't use 'em, right.
mobile device.
Don't you think they would ever be able to, apply for a building permit on that website? If your blueprint was on a PDF file and you could send the blueprint to them, why couldn't the application be on there too?
I think that's an excellent example of an e-form that we could develop. Absolutely.
And at the last meeting that I sat in on, what their planning commission is looking at, they're looking at doing that with PDF files now.
Because I know most all your blueprints are on PDF
Yes,
files now.
exactly.
They're not on paper.
Exactly.
And if we can incorporate, if the City County Planning Commission's website wasn't necessarily completely separate of the county's website, it would look much more, integrated
Yep.
and purposeful. And so I think that's an excellent point. So
And
we-
also, the Judge, Brent brought it to my attention, because I was wanting to kind of some way to quantify or the numbers, is everything adding up to actually spend this money? And, and we had over 70,000 hits on the website. Now, if you're like me, when you go to it and you on that phone and the drop down, you can't get to them or nothing. It's kind of frustrating. So, again, this is just moving forward and getting in the 21st century and trying to be like every other community, pretty much. And so I think it's well needed and money well spent also.
And not just to be like every other community, but to try to be a little bit better. Right?
Or better,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. But like in Carter's Point, there's several communities that do all those
Bowling Green
e-forms and all that.
So is Owensboro.
Makes the process move smoother, quicker.
Sky's the limit.
Now, I noticed on that one that was up there, it had a real estate search.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would you be able to look up on that real estate search to see who owned the property? Or
I think it was Georgia, wasn't
yeah, I think it was Georgia. The one with the four-wheeler on the.
One of the other tabs up there.
Yeah. Go up to
One of
the
the
Georgia
communities.
website at the very top.
Very top. Go to the second tab up there at the top. No.
it? Oh, yeah, Lloyd's County.
It had the four-wheeler
One more over.
with the hunting dog.
There you go.
There
it
you go,
is.
right there.
Yeah.
Had real estate search there at the bottom of it.
Q Public, that's who, that's the same vendor that Howard Moran uses, Q Public.
Do you think that we could integrate that? Because, I mean, if
That's what this.
I like to sit and look at some, if they got a house for sale, I want to look it up and see what it's
Trying to expand the empire, yeah.
Yeah.
And Howard's got that now.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's a subscription service.
Right.
And it may very well be with.
I mean, that's
Lowndes
just a
County.
link to their PVA's website. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we can do that too, but that depends on what Howard gives out for free and what he doesn't, because that's a revenue source for his office.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments? Please call for a vote.
Magistrate Putman,
Aye.
Magistrate Warren,
Aye.
Magistrate Todd, and Magistrate Wilkerson.
Thank you both. Appreciate it. Good work. Next, I'd like to call up Alan Bennett, our City County Airport Director, for an update on what's going on at the airport, as well as some look ahead, perhaps, at what might be needed in the court eventually.
Morning.
It's good that we're talking about updates, because that's what I'm here to talk about is updates. We recently agreed upon our O&M budget, and now,
Alan, can you raise the microphone?
and now I'd like to discuss our our capital improvements portion of the budget going forward. I'm not here to ask for money today. What I want to do is make this as informational as possible so that we know what's coming up so that we can plan for it. I'm going to run through an organizational chart for the airport, kind of tell you how we get there. The city and the county own the airport. I mean, you guys are the sole owners. You and the city combined own the airport. You nominate people to a board to manage that airport, and they employ me. We've got a lien holder in the FAA that is a big part of what we do at the airport. They're not a static lien holder. They review our property in conjunction with the Kentucky Department of Aviation, and working with our mandated consultants, then determine things that the airport needs. Now, they don't just wave the magic wand and say you've got to have this without funding it. They do. They put up 90 cents of every dollar it takes to do whatever they tell you to do. We develop what is known as an ACIP. That ACIP is, I think, available to everybody in their packets. But the basis for that is the Kentucky Department of Aviation, the Federal Aviation Administration, our airport board, and our paid consultants once a year work on the development of that. It's primarily set to standards and accountability by the FAA, coupled with their desire for safe air operations. The master plan then and its intended goals are funded based on what they can do. I mean, sometimes they can't fund them. They identify them as future needs. Sometimes they can fund them. As you know, we're in the middle of a runway. I'm going to call it relocation, because extension is kind of, I mean, we are actually getting a net extension out of it, but that project has been going on for several years. The FAA commissioned a study to study our existing fleet and the safety of the existing fleet operations at our airport, and they determined that our runway was not long enough. And they also found that our runway safety area on the east end of the airport was insufficient by 604 feet. That had to all be shifted to the west as well. So that project actually started with that survey, because their interest is in having our airport be as safe and as modern as possible. So that moves us to the capital budget. And if you've got your ACIP in front of you, we're looking out over about 7 years on this. The column on the left totals $13,972,000 worth of projects that are slated for the next 7 years. I'll tell you, some of those will get delayed. This won't happen in 7 years. It never does. But it will. It's all out in front of them. This is all approved in our workshop. As we go forward, these things are necessary in order to keep our airport safe and functional. The sponsored participation in the far right-hand column for these 7 years is slated at just under $700,000. Of that, fiscal court's portion of that would be half. The city then would have the other half of this. And for that $350,000, we would have a $14 million capital improvement in the airport. And that improvement is not such that we're trying to create an Evansville, or it's the safety of the existing users that we're trying to satisfy. And just like with the software, we're looking to stay current. We don't want to shorten our airstrip by 604 feet and lose our FBO to Evansville, to put that in what happens if you don't. So with that, I wanted to bring your attention to our capital needs. While we're budget neutral this year, we land banked. The airport board actually purchased property, and we got that in a program with the FAA for it's called land bank. We get 90 cents of every one of those dollars back in the form of sponsor participation. So this year, we're paid up. I mean, last year, we were paid up. We paid our own way, basically, with property that we purchased. So with that, we're doing all we can to minimize the impact to the court. But what we want to do today is make you aware that there are things coming up that will cost money, and to the best of our knowledge, we've been submitting this to the court with our budget request for our O&M budget every year now for the last 3 years. And now that we've gotten in the middle of a project of size, substance, I just am responding to the judge's request that we come and make this more known and be here to answer questions. I mean, if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Again, I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that the airport, over the next 7 years, is going to be coming us asking for $350,000, according to the schedule, and it probably will be a little bit more than that.
It could be, depending on price escalation in that period of time, but it'll be, that's in today's dollars.
And you know that in the budget we'll vote on later today, we anticipate getting back to the level of contribution that the fiscal court agreed to in an interlocal agreement.
I thank the court
3 years
that
ago.
we have kept our appropriations request the same for the last 3 fiscal years. We made the request for the same money.
Yeah. So I wanted Alan to come and remind us all of this, so that we weren't surprised in the future. Alan just said it may not go according to this schedule. There's often delays and
Federal funding is subject to what happens. I think our funding bill for the FAA in Congress right now is good for 6 more months, and then they've got to vote on another one.
Right.
But this is in the plans with our airport district office, which is in Memphis, and this is what we're currently working toward, or as an agreement with the FAA.
And again, these are the things the FAA has basically told our airport it needs to do to remain in the FAA's good graces. We always have the option of saying no, but then we also risk getting out of the loop of FAA funding that helps support the airport. Am I getting that correctly?
That is correct. I mean, these projects support our community too. The airport has we got a standard on our O&M budget that we try to do business locally if we can. And these projects tend to lend themselves to local, at least area contractors as well.
And it's safe to say that FAA funding is crucial for the ongoing viability of our airport.
Yes.
So again,
do they set the order for you to do this stuff?
Do what now?
Do they set the order for you to do this?
They do. Well, it's determined. We all talk about it, but in this, where we're dealing with almost a single project all the way through, the order of the project just follows the logic of completion. Things that have to be done in order for something else to be done. Mm-hmm. If you notice the runway extension, it can't happen until the road's relocated, until the power lines are relocated. There wouldn't be any sense to, so yeah, common sense kind of dictates the order of events as far as that goes. The land acquisition has to precede the relocations.
Well, they had that in 2022. They had that land acquisition. I mean, it must be a real small
That is
section
actually
of
another
ground.
parcel of land that we found that is quite important to the airport. Actually, John Becker's house and an associated 2 acres on our east side we have identified as a future need. It's kind of far down the priority list at this point, but they ask us to keep this thing with the needs of the airport.
and we were discussing before the meeting a bit, Alan, that the ongoing surveying and negotiation process with families whose land are in play in this project is
That is continuing.
progressing to your satisfaction?
Oh, everybody'd like to see it go a little quicker, but yes, our negotiations with the family are pretty well on track. Our preliminary schedule is still out there, and we're within the parameters of the original schedule.
Any other questions for Alan? Again, this was just an FYI. I wanted to make sure everybody understood, and as we dive farther into this project.
Yeah, appreciate you coming.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it. Now I'd like EMA Manager Larry Kerber to come to the mic, and we're going to be talking about both ending an agreement with Code Red and signing a new reverse 911 agreement with HyperReach.
All right. Morning.
Morning.
Just to bring everybody a little bit up to speed on what's been going on, is we've been under contract with Code Red for the last 4 years. It was a 4-year contract to provide public notification and reverse 911 type services. That contract, it will be up for renewal at June 30 of 2017. So back in February, with anticipation of this contract running out, that we wanted to find out what else was going on, what's available out in the public notification arena. So we developed a committee of all emergency services were invited to attend the demonstrations and so on. And we were, those that participated were really emergency management and the city and county water departments. So we had 4 vendors that we looked at their products and so on and so forth, comparing several different things, including how it affects us, ease of operations, price, and so on. So we looked at all 4 of those since February and narrowed it down, and finally the committee decided that we suggest going with HyperReach, and for a number of reasons, including price. The current price that we're under right now, or off from Code Red, was like $10,500 per year, and HyperReach, their quote was $8,000 for a year. And so following up on that, we've started to put things together, but in order to meet the contract of Code Red, we, in terms of termination, if we decide to cancel that contract, we have to give them 30 days written notice. And so that's why we're here today, to authorize that written notice of cancellation with Code Red, and to get an approval to go in contract with HyperReach for 1 year at a cost of $8,000 for the public notification. Not only is it public notification use, but also the different areas, like for instance, county water uses it to for water outages and boil orders and all that sort of stuff. So does the city water does the same thing. Emergency services, I know the fire departments use it quite a bit for in-house communications to say, Friday night we have a special training or whatever it may be for their members of the individual departments. We have the capability to draw a particular area on a map as to who would be notified for whatever reason that notification would be necessary for. So we feel this is the product that will best suit our needs, and it's for 1 year. I know that the judge had referenced Cities Plus or Civic Plus, and I just found out about it, and we really didn't have time to get into their product or proposal or demonstration. I will do that, but I'm afraid that's going to have to be put off to consideration for next year. So this current year will be, we'll try it, HyperReach for a year and see how it works. If it fits, fine. If it doesn't, we're certainly going to be open to look to other vendors.
And Larry, just to be clear, there is some exigency in the Code Red contract in that if we don't cancel it, within the next few days and get that notice sent, it automatically renews. Right?
Automatically renews for another, I'm not even sure, I think it's a year, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I think we're all on board with the time that we do have to get it done through this process, through fiscal court, and then we will get that in the mail and to them before the end of the week.
Judge, I make a motion that we cancel our service with Code Red and enter into an agreement for 1 year with HyperReach.
I appreciate that. We actually have a resolution to read, canceling the contract. So we'll do. Unless anybody has any questions for Larry, we can commence with the reading of that resolution canceling the Code Red contract.
Judge, I do have one, and I agree, 1 year for this particular scenario based on the fact that you have the other entity that you would like for us to consider. But as you're planning into next year, 1 year seems like a very short time to be, staying with a company. I don't know if they have a 2 year, 3 year. Again, this year I think 1 year is fine because we may want to
and we really wanted to do the 1 year because we were having some issues with Code Red as far as database, who owns the database and how can we get it and retrieve it and reuse it. And so now we're going to, by this 1 year, it's in the contract that it's our data. We can do with it whatever we want, and it's complete to us. In other words, they don't hold out the cell phone numbers, So we're going to put all of those things in place and then reevaluate the situation. Did it work for us? Did it not? Is there other companies that are more available? So the 1 year is what we're going with now, and next time we can negotiate with HyperReach or someone else for an extended period to guarantee a price. That's yet to be negotiated.
And we did confirm with the vendor that all data would be fully exportable into a normalized format that we could use and import into something else, like whether it's CSV or one of those other types of formats that can be easily imported into another process. So
right.
it should be relatively transportable.
And it was cheaper than what we've been experiencing before. So.
Okay, so if everybody's satisfied, we'll have clerk. Can we just get away with reading the summary of the resolution, you think, Mr. Gold?
Read the summary. Okay.
I did keep it under one page, though.
You did? Yeah, I was impressed.
Resolution authorizing County Judge Executive to cancel emergency communications contract with Emergency Communications Network, LLC, DBA Code Red, and authorizing County Judge Executive to execute contract with Sam Masher Computing Services, DBA HyperReach.
So, Magistrate Putman, would you like to make a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion on this? Please take a vote.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd.
Aye.
And Magistrate Wilkerson.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Larry. Any representatives of the Planning Commission here today to talk with us about rezoning on Holloway Lane? There's Brian. Thank you.
Morning. Excuse me. On May 2nd, the Planning Commission held a public hearing and recommended a zoning change from Ag to R1 for 3.7 acres. This is in conjunction with the 3-lot subdivision. Under the alternative zoning procedure, which the county has adopted, the rezoning will automatically be approved after 21 days, which is tomorrow. The alternative zoning procedure is going very well. We think it's speeding up the process, and we hope to continue it more. I'll do my best to answer any questions you may have.
Brian, come and give us an update on that. To be clear, the only action we would have to take is if somebody somehow objected to this rezoning?
The fiscal court has two options. The first is they could hear they could make the final determination if there is an aggrieved party, but the fiscal court still has the option to hear the rezoning application. If you do not like the Planning Commission's decision. If you think that there was some errors made, the fiscal court still has all the authority to make the recommendation. The alternative rezoning process just speeds up the process. It saves the applicant the time coming to fiscal court and then going through the first and second readings of the zoning change.
And there have been no objections to date.
Not at this time.
And if we merely let the 21-day period lapse into tomorrow, then it's automatically approved.
That's correct.
So we don't have to do anything technically.
Did you have a public hearing on it? Or?
We did. We held a public hearing on May 2nd under our regularly scheduled meeting. The vote was 9-0, so it was unanimous.
Okay. Nobody came to vote.
There was no objection voiced.
Any other questions, Brian? I don't think we need to do anything.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next, one of the seats on the City County Planning Commission is coming open on June 1, and it is our position to fill. And I'd like to inform the court that it's going to be my intention to appoint Doug Bell to the City County Planning Commission to fill this seat. And Doug is, I think, well known to many of you. He's a banker and has extensive background in real estate transactions and zoning issues, and I think he'd make a good addition to the Planning Commission. Both the director and chairman are in support of that appointment, and to ask for a motion to approve Doug Bell appointed to the Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Take a vote, please.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd. Magistrate Wilkerson.
Aye.
We have our animal control people with us again. Thank you for the regular reports, and looking forward to this one.
Hi, County Judge, Magistrates, and Madam Clerk. Did you guys receive the financial report?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any questions?
I know in the budget we'll be talking about later, we again have returned the level of our support to the amount that was agreed upon in interlocal agreements a few years ago, so we'll be matching the cities back to $110,000 a year approximately. So I'm sure
Excellent.
it's good news for you. I noticed
Yes.
it's been a little bit of a tough year so far.
Yeah, and make that number look a lot better.
Yes, it will.
So having said that, I'll open it up to any comments you have.
We have been applying for grants. Also, along with the grants, we're updating our webpage to include more information, more positive information. So one thing that I did want to share is we have a life-saving rate, which means that we take the number of dogs that are or cats that come into the facility, and we subtract the animals that die in the facility. And there's reasons they could be sick, injured, old age, and then we subtract the euthanasia rate, and that comes up with the life-saving rate. Our current life-saving rate for dogs is at 89%, which is fantastic. And our current life-saving rate for cats is 55%. And we are looking for that to steadily increase. One thing to note about cats is that they're more sensitive as far as sickness and things. Also, along with that, is we get a lot of kittens into the facility, and so that drives down the life-saving rate because a lot of kittens come in without mamas. And so we have to bottle feed and nurture and try to get those cats to flourish. So that also is incorporated into that. However, we've put different protocols in place, and we're looking to see that number increase.
Any other questions?
I could understand maybe during the downturn of the economy that animals being brought to you all would increase. Has it by any chance slowed down, or is you still is busier than? Okay.
Yes, we still have a steady increase of people bringing in strays, people surrendering their animals, lots of cats. So my big thing is spay and neuter your pets. And we do have programs in place that we can try to assist if you have community cats. that we can bring those in, get them spayed and neutered, and release them back into the community. And people frown about that. However, they do serve a purpose in the community. They help with control the rodent population, and also whenever you spay and neuter a colony of cats in a certain area, because that's their area that they live in, and they control that rodent population, they also will keep other cats out. And if those cats are spayed and neutered, then they can't produce other baby kittens, which will, because a cat can have 2 to 3 litters of kittens a year. So just spay and neuter your pets.
Is it accurate, too, that spring and summer tend to be your busy seasons?
Yes. We have over 50 kittens as of right now.
As we get into spring and summer, and I know Chief Crooks gets even busier, I'd encourage and remind everybody down at the Humane Society and the shelter that customer service goes a long way to mitigating all controversies and arguments about stray pets and things like that. So the more you can do to perfect or try to perfect customer service, go a long way, and I'd get less phone calls. So that's always a good thing. And we appreciate all you do, though.
I would like to turn
respect.
the mic over to Katie so that she can make some reminders about putting animals outside, because it is nicer weather. So what about the like leading, like the leash laws?
Okay. It is warm weather, so dogs do overheat really quick. It doesn't take much for a dog to die of a heat stroke, so you have to make sure that they have plenty of water at all times if they are outside. They need to be on a at least 12-foot tether if you're going to have them tethered. They have to have a proper dog house that's a roof 3 sides so that they can get shade and get out of the weather and the sun. A porch is not a proper shelter because, well, they can still get rained on and everything else for that. So just keep in mind when the animals are outside, that will make less stress for me and will also help keep the shelter not packed is when people are taking care of their dogs and putting them on leashes and proper tethers and everything else. So,
any other questions?
I have to brag about the intelligent level of the animals they provide. We got a cat from down there, and this cat can open up doors. If I could get it to shut the door, I'd be real happy. But it just goes from room to room, opening doors, and we have to go back. I mean, it's amazing.
Hey, just something that I know it's went away for me, and I don't know if it has for the judge, but I used to have a problem in the 4th District running around Sand Lane behind Sherway and houses right there off Sand Lane, right off of Green. And there was a lot of, I'll call them feral cats because nobody would claim them. And I used to get a lot of calls, and I know we jumped through hoops trying to fix the problem. But I quit getting those calls, and I don't know if the people have moved, but I haven't seen the cats either down there behind Sherway where those apartments, they used to be in there all the time. Is anybody calling, or has that problem just kind of been fixed, or they moved, or?
Yeah, I'm not for sure.
But you're not getting any calls on it or anything?
We're not getting any calls. We don't come out and get the cats, so
right.
We tell people that they can come. We have traps that they can
the
rent
cages,
and
yeah,
everything to bring the cats to us. Also, outside cats only have a life expectancy of about 2 years, so that may have happened.
Well, it's been a while. I just kind of wondered, we were sitting there, you was talking about kittens and cats, and that was a big issue for me for a while, but I haven't heard a word, and it's for a while, quite a while, so that's a good thing. I hope they didn't die. I mean,
sometimes if they run out of food source or anything, they will relocate to where that food source is.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to call our recycling coordinator, Nancy Watkins, up if she's here. We're going to read a declaration of surplus that Nancy asked us to take under consideration. She has a ton of, literally, I think a ton of wooden pallets. Many of the Gaylord containers that came into the recycling center over the years came in on pallets, and they're stacking up. And actually, the ones that are in good shape have value, and we thought giving somebody a chance to come buy them from us would benefit both them and us. So she has a declaration in your packets of surplus. Steve, do we need to read this, or can we just review it?
Yes, I think we need to read it.
Okay. Madam Clerk.
Whereas through its recycling operations, the Henderson Fiscal Court has become the owner of approximately 1,500 wooden pallets, more or less, of various sizes and conditions that are no longer of use to the county. Whereas pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the Fiscal Court finds that it is in the best interest of the county to deem the property as surplus and provide for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court wishes to offer the said personal property to be sold by sealed bid, and whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court wishes to offer the said property for sale by sealed bid to be transferred by quitclaim deed upon the following conditions as recommended by the Solid Waste Coordinator. Now therefore it be resolved by the Fiscal Court, County of Henderson, Kentucky, as follows. Number one, pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the following real property owned by the County of Henderson, Kentucky is declared to be surplus, approximately 1,500 more or less wooden pallets of various sizes and conditions. Number two, with regard to real property, the Henderson County Fiscal Court hereby finds as follows in accordance with KRS 67.0802. A, the pallets were acquired through the normal operations of the Henderson County Recycling Program. B, the pallets are ancillary to the recycling operations and no longer county funds were used to obtain the pallets. C, the county has no plans for use of the property and the pallets are taking up space that could be used in a fashion more beneficial to the public. Therefore, it is in the public interest to dispose of the property. D, the disposition of the property shall be by the acceptance of sealed bids in accordance with KRS 424.1301B as soon as shall be practicable. Number three, the property shall be sold according to the following conditions as recommended by the Solid Waste Coordinator. A, the successful bidder must remove all of the pallets regardless of dimensions or pallet condition during the hours of 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. within 15 days of the bid award. B, the successful bidder shall be required to leave the area in which pallets are stored in same or better condition after loading material, including but not limited to sweeping of the concrete area of debris, nails in place, and refuse in a dumpster on site at the recycling center. C, no unwanted pallets will be placed in the recycling center's dumpster. D, no sorting or disassembling of pallets will be allowed on Henderson County property. E, the successful bidder shall be responsible for loading and transporting the pallets in a safe manner. F, the successful bidder must declare in writing date and time they will come and load the pallets once they are awarded the bid. G, if successful bidder does not remove all pallets within 15 days of the bid award, the bid shall be deemed null and void. In the event the successful bidder fails to remove all pallets in a timely fashion, the next qualified bidder will be contacted to receive the pallets and no refund shall be given. Number five, the Fiscal Court reserves the right to reject all bids if in its sole discretion no bid is sufficient to meet the best interests of the public.
Can I get a motion to accept that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Comments? Please take a vote.
Magistrate Whitman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd.
Aye.
And Magistrate Wilkerson.
Aye.
Thank you. And now I'd like to ask Jailer Amy Brady to come up and give us a quick update on a request she has for negotiating a telephone contract.
Good morning.
Morning.
We currently have Securus as our phone provider for the inmate telephones. And the phones that we have are old school. They look like payphones. In the past, probably year and a half, they've came out with kiosk phones, and Telmate is another provider, and they've put in a proposal. I would like to see what it would take to get out of our current phone contract. I'm still looking to see if it went before the court or not for approval. But the phone contract proposal that we've received is going to really benefit the jail and also the families of the prisoners. It would allow for video visitation, which would help people that travel long distances to see their loved ones. It would allow video conferencing with the judges, county attorney, anyone else that has a mobile device. And that would be free of charge. It would lower the cost of calls. Right now there's a connection fee, and calls at the jail, depending on where the inmate calls, they vary in what it costs the family. This would be a flat rate, so everyone would have one rate for the calls that go out.
And I think Amy's just looking for, see if anybody objects to her trying to negotiate a better deal, renegotiate the current contract.
Now, to be clear, there is an existing contract under which we do have obligations, and what the jailer's talking about is negotiating a way to buy our way out of that contract so that we would be free to contract with another entity. And that's anything that did occur, any final agreement that was reached would have to be approved by fiscal court at that time.
And it's preliminary right now, which is why we don't have a formal resolution like we did with Code Red, for example. I think Amy just wanted to make sure we were okay with her moving forward and trying to see what.
Will the new company help us on, maybe if we do have to pay something to buy our way out of that contract, will they help us on that?
They're looking into that.
So what I would suggest is, unless anybody has a objection, to go ahead and, or maybe to go ahead and explore this and then come back and report on what you find. While you're here, can I ask for a brief update on the kitchen project?
Walls are going up. It's looking good. It's actually starting to look like a building out there. So they're trying to beat the weather right now. Rain. It's been up and down. They are working on sinking the lines that go into the fire suppression system.
And again, this is a cooperative effort with Jailer Brady, Bill Hubiak from the Road Department, Jay Smith from Fossey and Associates, and Danco's project manager to oversee the project and make sure we get it done relatively on time. I know there's some fits and starts at the beginning, but looks like they're making progress now. So,
Well, the jail magistrate's been great as far as working with us and attending the meetings. So
good deal.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'd like to call Renee Sadmer up for her report.
I have payments made to the county for the month of April 2017. The excess fees for the month, $88,155.29, and the total remitted to the county is $124,018.34 for April. So we're running on track. Everything looks good.
Good deal. Anybody have any questions? Need a motion to accept the payments?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any other comments? Vote, please.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd. And Magistrate Wilkerson.
Aye.
Thank you, Renisa. You also have in your package, gentlemen, the sheriff's monthly reports. Your quick review. Entertain a motion to accept those.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Please call for a vote.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd.
Aye.
Magistrate Wilkerson.
Aye.
Thank you. And Mr. Gold, your report.
All right, Judge, I've got several checks today. Salaries, FICA, and retirement, $3,327.24. A reimbursement for a supplement to an assistant county attorney's salary, $458.33. Health, dental, life insurance, $615.83, $25.18, $246.93, $7,575.24, and AFLAC reimbursement of $25.20. Interest in the amount of $12.39 and $37.18, for a total remitted to the county today, $12,323.52, bringing the fiscal year total to date to $126,892.80.
Motion to accept those.
So moved. Second.
Any comments or questions? Please call for a vote.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd.
Aye.
Magistrate Wilkerson.
Aye.
After a solid several months, in fact, of work by the department heads and a workshop last week, we have, I think, pounded out a very solid 2017-18 budget for Henderson County. Brenda Ryder, our treasurer, will be coming now and giving you the budget we'll be voting on. This includes the changes and additions that were suggested at the workshop. And I want to leave it up to the treasurer to offer any final comments on this draft. Again, this is first reading, and we're going to be targeting second reading, if this passes, for the second fiscal court meeting in June to give a chance of DLG to get back to us and make sure everything is correct. So, Madam Treasurer, I'll take any extra comment you want to add.
This is the first reading for the fiscal year 18 budget, which is primarily to be forwarded to DLG for Department of Local Government for approval of form and classification. This budget is presented to the court in spreadsheet format and will be forwarded to the Department of Local Government in the Treasurer's financial software format, everything remaining the same as far as numbers in both formats. The total balanced budget for fiscal year 18 is $27,905,390.44. The budgeted revenues with the corresponding appropriations for each fund are as followed. General Fund, $11,764,037.17. Road Fund, $4,257,624.72. Jail Fund, $10,791,830.06. LGEA Fund, $901,290.49. Grants Fund, $105,608. Economic Development Fund, $85,000. Again, for a total for the fiscal year 18 budget of $27,905,390.44. A couple of things I want to point out here. Reflected in the revenue and appropriations, which to meet the state auditor's requirements, is in the general fund the bond proceeds for the active ongoing 911 project of $1,900,921.35. Also in the jail fund, the bond proceeds for the active ongoing kitchen project of $2,155,649.55. As these projects are completed, these line items will decrease and eventually zero out from the budget. In the grants fund, there is a revenue and appropriation dedicated for $105,608. That represents what is currently remaining of the Women's Center $220,000 grant.
The Warm Center?
Yes, the Warm Center or the Women's Center. The other thing I need to ask for is on the back of your packet is your annual standing orders to pay, listing recurring expenses as they are incurred and not waiting until be presented in court.
So again, to reiterate, we have almost $4 million that we had to include in this year's budget in current bond issues that were not necessarily reflected in past budgets, that total amount, but that's income and outgo. And as both the 911 center and the kitchen project are completed this year, those large bound amounts will eventually come out within next year. So unless we issue another bond,
Yes.
between now and then. For the next fiscal year, 18-19, you won't see those two bond
And
issues.
this is a new requirement of the state auditor's office as of the past year.
Now, in ongoing years, we will be showing the bond payments that we're responsible for, but not the total issue. So again, $4 million of the $27 million plus are those two projects.
Once the actual project is completed, then those will leave, but you will see your payments in your bond debt services in those funds.
So any other questions? I know we did a lot of hard work on this, as was stated before after the workshop. Much more pleasant experience this year than last with a little bit more resources, and I think good management of the budget put us in a better position. And,
Judge, I move that we accept the budget as presented with the annual standing order on those pre-approved reoccurring expenses.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? Please call for a vote.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd. And Magistrate Wilkerson.
Thank you. And you also have claims.
Go cut 3 trees.
Thank you.
These are the bank balances after paying claims today. Your daily operational line items should be at approximately 91%. And I have additional claims. From the general fund, the law firm of Linda Ain, $1,470. This is for negotiating the cable agreement for the county. Also from the general fund to the Zoho Corporation, the amount of $1,675. This is for the annual subscription for managing desktop computers. From the Economic Development Fund to the Hebbardsville Volunteer Fire Department, $5,017. This is reimbursing the fire department for the annual coal severance funds that were approved. From the jail fund, $10,256.60 to Victory Supply for inmate uniforms. That is all the additional claims, and then I do have some line item transfers to be approved.
Let's go ahead and, any other questions about claims?
I did have just one, and
Sure.
we didn't get to have our meeting yesterday. I had a board meeting to go to, but under general on page 3, the $25,899 to J.E. Shekel, does that wrap up the heating of the boiler? Or?
That is, I believe, repairs and updates to both this building and the Judicial Center.
So,
The $10,745, which is the top, is for 2 fan coils for here at the courthouse. The bottom amount of this of $12,531 is for the Judicial Center, which is labor and materials for the chiller repairs.
So,
I was going to say,
Okay.
we'll get reimbursed for that.
Yes, that was approved by OLC, and there will be reimbursement for that.
basically, as the weather turned and we turned on the air conditioning, these are necessary repairs.
Gotcha, I understand. Were you wanting to ask about the other one?
Well, on under road, page 2 of 4, game time, that $18,954.08.
That is for playground units, and it is to be determined as to where they'll be located in the future, is what I'm told.
I want Mitzi to answer any questions about that.
It just kind of jumped out at me.
And that was a budgeted item, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
under
I assumed it
parks.
was budget. Just
And the only reason why we didn't get to
sure.
our finance committee meeting yesterday, we just, normally we would have already asked you these questions.
Sure.
So that's it.
Okay. Any other questions? Please.
Need a motion?
need a motion to pay the claims.
Yes.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other comments? Please call for a vote.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd.
Aye.
Magistrate Wilkerson.
Aye.
Okay, and I left on your stations a copy of line item transfers. What this is doing is moving already budgeted appropriations from one line item to another to cover departmental expenses that have changed from one location to the other. Moving to fiscal court legal fees, the amount of $1,470 from contingent appropriations. What this is for is to pay the claim to Linda Ain for the telecommunications for the month of April, the consulting. From the tax bill preparation, which is the clerk's line item, moving to this account $7,200 from the election of officers in the same amount. From the sheriff's overtime line item, moving to this $3,000 from sheriff's grants, the same amount. For the sheriff's vehicle repair line item, moving to this line $7,897. Moving from the maintenance and repairs of the sheriff's department, $3,897, and then from the sheriff's vehicles, moving from this line item to the vehicle repair, the additional $4,000. Then for the jail fund, moving to the data processing equipment line item, $3,500 from the prisoner hygiene line item. With the still in the jail, moving to the overtime line item, $28,000 from the part-time help line item. Again in the jail, moving to routine medical line, $50,604.04. The line items that make up this amount that are being transferred from are motor vehicle in the amount of $32,939.04, communication equipment, $12,820, staff uniforms, $4,845. The last transfer for the jail is moving to the food line item, $74,035, moving from the following line items. Contingent appropriations, $47,935, equipment repairs, $20,000, cleaning supplies, $6,100. This is all the line item transfers.
Motion to approve those. I'm sorry, any questions about that? Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Please call for a vote.
Magistrate Putman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd.
Aye.
Magistrate Wilkerson.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work, and I'll note that in the budget where it said that we should be through approximately 91% of expenses at this point, department heads have yet again done a very good job holding the line on many of these. Overall, I think we're at 88% total in cost ratio, which is really good. I appreciate that. As we go to the county invitation, I know we have representatives of the Henderson County War Memorial Foundation with us, and I'd like to invite them up to the podium and give us an update on their progress, and I know they have a request. And I believe they also have a handout that should be at your seats.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you, Judge. I'm Mac Neal, as most of you know, with the Henderson War Memorial. I'm the treasurer, and this is Ken Christopher, our president. Provided you with a little bit of information what we do. Most people think all we do is Memorial Day. There's a whole lot more than that. We sponsor Guardians on honor flights, and we also see to it at Christmas time any veteran in a nursing home does not go without Christmas presents. So we take care of that, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And there's other things that arise from time to time. Our most recent project, as you know, was the Admiral Kimmel statue, and we're extremely proud of that. I don't know if you're aware, that made worldwide news the day we dedicated that. I went on the internet, and Henderson even made an Indonesian newspaper, so I thought that was kind of interesting about Pearl Harbor. And we also had the gentleman that wrote the book and his wife Brad, I believe you met. They came all the way from Ireland for the dedication. So it's going to be good. It was quite interesting. We also, as you know, had to borrow $15,000 because we ran short, and we're here to request the money that we were originally given approximately 2 years ago that we returned to the county because we didn't know whether we were going to be able to proceed further, and fortunately we were. So we would like that. If you all could return that to us, we'd be most pleased and gracious. Ken, do you?
The only thing I would add is that that original amount was $20,000. That's what we are requesting, and from that, the bulk of it is spent. And that Mac just told you that we had to borrow $15,000 to kind of finalize the project. However, the project is not exactly final. We still have 2 plaques to place. Each of those plaques will be about $3,000. One of them is the donor plaque, and that one's real important, I think, to people in the community who stepped up and helped us create this memorial. So certainly we're going to do that one. And we've got other expenses that we've already incurred. I would mention to you that the Memorial Day services, which Mac referred to, annually cost us about $3,000 to $3,500 to put that on, which includes creation of new crosses inscribed with the individual veteran's name down there, and then all the other things that go on that day in the park. But that's a pretty expensive thing for us to do as well. So just so you know, we have been given information that we would be able to be here and present to you, and we're grateful for that. But we held off on that donor plaque, waiting on this day, because we wanted the county to have its name on there as well. And so I'm certainly glad we did that. And as fast as we know what you want us to do, we'll get that plaque created and set up down there. But thank you very much for the opportunity to come and talk to you this morning. We appreciate it.
I make the motion that we give the $20,000 for the war memorial.
I second that motion, and thank you for what you do. It's a beautiful statue, obviously, and we'd be honored, I'm sure, and I can speak for the whole court, to have our name on that plaque. So thank you.
And I'm especially proud of the crosses and the programs that you do each year. I did not realize the additional cost that you have each year to be able to keep that continued. So again, thank you.
Appreciate it. We will fit this in based on the motion in a second. I know it has support. I think this is a one-time contribution, which is important as we, again, keep the county coming out of its financial hole. I think there were special circumstances surrounding this one based on the commitment that Fiscal Court made 2 years ago. And I know that unforeseen circumstances kept the project from moving forward at that time. So even though projects like this, I'm sure, have their critics at times about whether they're required of public money, I think considering the history, I think it's appropriate. So we will go ahead and get that plaque cut, and we will, at the next meeting, figure out an amendment to find that money. There is money available to do that, and I'm happy to say that. So thank you very much. And with a motion in a second, I'll entertain any other questions of Mac or Ken.
Good. Appreciate it.
Please call for a vote.
Magistrate Whitman.
Aye.
Magistrate Warren.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd.
Aye.
And Magistrate Wilkerson.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We're very grateful.
Thank you all.
And with that, I'll open the floor to any other folks from our audience who would like to address any issues for the good of the county.
Yes, Judge, we spoke about this briefly in our road department committee meeting, but I would like to ask the court's approval to adjust the recycling hours at the road department to mirror the road department's hours of 7 in the morning till 3:30 p.m. Due to security reasons on the premises. That's okay?
Basically, right now, the recycling center shuts down at 4, so there's a half hour there when there aren't as many people on the property.
Yes.
As there is at 3:30.
Right, and with this, we used to have Randy Tess's hours would match the recycling. So we had another person on site, but I feel that it would be in the best interest of the recycling center employees that we match the same hours.
And this was prompted by a recent incident?
Yes. We had a recent incident where the person had drove on the premises that was had assaulted a person with a deadly weapon and came back on the premises twice. And we were able to supply the sheriff's department with the plate number, and so they, I believe they made the arrest after that. But
and you're going to continue to be open on Saturdays, correct?
yes, sir. This just affects the Monday through Friday hours.
So it's just a half an hour, and it
Yeah.
leaves the recycling, keeps the recycling center staff from being there alone, basically, with very few people. I don't have any problem with it. Gentlemen, any questions? And Nancy is fully supportive?
Yes, I spoke with her about this, making sure that she is on board.
Okay.
She agreed.
Anybody have an issue with that?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We will go ahead and make that change unless anybody has any objections. We'll just...
We'll do that effective June 1st.
Okay.
We can have that put in the paper.
Okay. Anybody else like to address the court for the good of the county?
Good morning.
Morning.
I'd like to thank everybody that came out to the ribbon cutting on Saturday. We had a fantastic turnout. A lot of people were mentioned that day. Miss Susie Watkins spoke about her late husband, how the park came about. Miss Joyce Davis was able to be there. Her daughter Chanda spoke on behalf of the family. With that being said, Sandy Lee Watkins is definitely a growing park, and we're doing a lot of things, but we get a lot of good partnership, such as the young men that are sitting in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but one of the Eagle Scouts through Boy Scouts started planting trees in our park. And this is your park. So with that, it prompted us to apply for a grant through LG&E and KU, which was just recently completed. Planted over 10,000 trees in that park. So our reforestation efforts started through the Boy Scouts. So I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for everything that you do.
Thank you, and I know several of us attended the ceremony. I thought it was very nice, very well done. Thank you for your effort. I know Susie Watkins was pleased, and that's probably the most important thing, and her family. And it looks sharp. The new signage looks good. Appreciate that. Anybody else for the good of the county?
Morning, Judge, magistrates.
Morning.
Clerk. I just wanted to invite everybody on June the 2nd to Relay for Life at North Middle School. It's from 4 p.m. to midnight. Come out, bring your family, friends, get some dinner, food, play some games, and raise money for a good cause. So I just want to invite everybody on June 2nd, next Friday, to come out to Relay for Life, okay?
What time do things get started there?
4 p.m. will be the start of it. Food will be going at 4. The opening ceremony will be at 6 o'clock, and then the luminary service will be later when it gets dark, about 10 o'clock.
Which is a fairly emotional ceremony.
It
every
absolutely
year.
is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Colin.
Absolutely.
Okay. Magistrate Putman, your thoughts?
All good, Judge. The budget, I was pleased with that, and first reading went very well, so glad we can get that much of it behind us and going forward one more, and we get that thing passed. But all's good in the fourth. Thank you very much.
Magistrate Warren?
I want to thank the road department again for all the work that they do, particularly I've got the Horseshoe Bend area and Reed Bills area, which is a lot of gravel area and floods periodically, and y'all are doing a great job taking care of that. Again, as we've talked about on the budget, a good budget for the coming year, and I feel like it's something that the staff, as you said, has worked hard to help make this year a good year, and I feel confident that 2017-18 will be a good year as well.
Master Wilkerson?
Thank y'all for going along with us on the War Memorial thing. District 5 doesn't get a whole lot, so thank y'all.
Yeah. Master Todd?
First, I want to thank Kara for her applying and winning the award, the scholarship. is a great thing, so appreciate that. And I don't want an update today, but I've got some calls on the Conway Road opening. So I know that the mine and they've met with some folks, and so I'd like to get an update on that sometime. You don't have to do it today.
Mr. Gold.
Judge, I wasn't going to say anything, but once Kyle came up, it inspired me to say a little something. We've got a lot of folks here that do a lot of service, and we've got our Boy Scouts. That was one of the most impressive resumes I've ever heard, and congratulations, by the way. That was incredible. How you get more than 4-point grade point average, that was way beyond anything I ever could have done. That's impressive. Yeah. I heard that, and I'm like, that can't be right, but it is. Congratulations. But, you know, what a lot of you all don't know is that Kyle is the chairman this year of Relay for Life. And it just kind of struck me when he came up, and I know a lot of you may not have known that. Every time I go to something in this community, I see county employees there involved in it and doing things. And that spirit of public service that you young gentlemen are getting right now and serving your community is something that can and should last a lifetime. And we see that with folks like Kyle and what he's doing in the community, and all the other folks in here. I mean, you look around, they're active in churches, they're active in nonprofits, and they're really making a difference. So I encourage you to continue to do that as you move forward, because I know you're doing a great job right now.
Thank you, Mr. Gold, and again, congratulations, Karen. Great honor, and I really appreciate Magistrate Todd wanting to take the time to especially recognize you. I think the original plan was to try to do it in school, and we ran into a little bit of logistical issues, but he really wanted to make sure that the community knew about your achievements and this nice scholarship, and we wanted apparently to surprise you with it here as well. So sorry about that, but I think it turned out great, and you can blame your dad. I want to say this about the budget. It's not easy. Budgeting is probably our primary responsibility at Henderson County Fiscal Court. It is in our name of what our major responsibility is. And so there's really nothing more important that we do, I would say, than develop and maintain the yearly budget. And I'm very pleased with the result this year. I appreciate the hard work of the department heads. I appreciate the hard work of the Fiscal Court. The workshop was productive, and I appreciate that we had an agreement and could have first reading today. Again, we had 3 goals going in, 3 primary goals, not the only goals, but 3 primary goals that we all agreed upon was to help continue to restore our reserve, which had been drawn down precipitously over the past 5 years, to both restore payroll and staffing levels that had been impacted by the cuts of the last 5 years, and also to restore services and equipment that helps those services that were also subject to cuts. And we are well on our way to doing that. We knew that we couldn't do it all at once. It would not be responsible to try to do it all at once, but we are slowly but surely getting back to 100% health. It will take a couple, 3 more years, absolutely, of this very concerted effort of maintaining spending discipline, supporting things that we believe in and know we should invest in, but also holding the line where we can and being good stewards of taxpayer money. And I think that this budget reflects that, and I know that as Magistrate Warren suggested, some of the things that we were able to help fund today are the result of good budgeting and then good stewardship of the resources that were given to the department heads and Fiscal Court this year. So I'm proud of that, and it's a lot more fun to offer support than to cut and slash and hack, even if that was absolutely necessary last year. So I just want to say that the current budget sets us on a trajectory for filling those goals, but we still have a lot of work to do, and we have to be mindful of what got us to this point in the first place. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor can leave. Thank you very much.